For centuries, we've looked up. From the very first stargazers to the dawn of the space age, one question has echoed across generations. Are we alone? But today, that question has shifted. It's no longer if we can reach another world, but when we will build a second home. The goal is Mars. The promise? It's the ultimate survival insurance for humankind. Leaders like Elon Musk call it inevitable. NASA is pursuing it with new energy. Mars isn't just a science outpost, it's the ultimate backup plan for our species. We have the ambition, we have the rockets, so if the will is there, if the purpose is so clear, why in 2025 are we still stuck here, staring at the red planet through a telescope? The problem isn't a lack of desire or even a lack of technology. It's the sheer magnitude of the three fundamental, unsolved engineering and biological problems that stand between us and that first Martian bootprint. Let's start with the most obvious issue: distance. At its closest, Mars is a daunting 55 million kilometers away. But space travel isn't a straight line. To save fuel, missions must wait for the perfect planetary alignment, using the complex physics of the Hohmann transfer orbit. This isn't a quick jaunt. It's a 6 to 9 month journey where every single kilogram matters. And here's the biggest hurdle. Earth and Mars only align perfectly once every 26 months. If your crew launches and misses that tight window, they're committed. There's no abort button, no fast track home. This constraint completely defines the mission. A minimum 3-year round trip, including the wait on Mars for the next optimal launch window back to Earth. Time is the biggest challenge, and during that 3-year commitment, the universe hits our astronauts with 2 catastrophic problems. Step outside Earth's protective bubble, our atmosphere, and our powerful magnetic field, and you enter a death zone. The biggest threat to a crewed mission isn't engine trouble, it's radiation. Specifically, there are 2 types: solar particle events, or SPEs, and galactic cosmic rays, or GCRs. SPEs are short, intense bursts of high-energy protons from the sun. They're dangerous, but we can predict them, giving astronauts a few hours to retreat to a heavily shielded storm cellar inside the ship. But the real, unsolved problem is the GCRs. These are highly charged, high-energy atomic nuclei accelerated by exploding stars across the galaxy, and they are everywhere. Imagine an invisible bullet train, a subatomic particle traveling near the speed of light, slamming into your spacecraft's hull. When it hits, it doesn't stop. It shatters the atoms in the metal, creating a cascade of secondary radiation inside the cabin. And when it hits the human body, it rips right through the DNA helix. A typical astronaut on a Mars mission would be exposed to radiation levels that easily exceed NASA's lifetime limits, multiplying their risk of fatal cancer and, critically, causing permanent damage to the central nervous system. Long-term memory loss, motor function decline, and space brain. These are the guaranteed side effects. Current shielding, like heavy metals or even water tanks, only offers partial protection. Ironically, putting too much dense material can actually make the GCR problem worse by accelerating the creation of that secondary radiation. Until we can engineer a reliable, lightweight magnetic or plasma shield, something that simply doesn't exist yet outside of theoretical physics, the invisible monster remains undefeated. The second huge obstacle is purely logistics, the brutal physics of the rocket equation. For every kilogram of payload you want to land on Mars, you need exponentially more mass
in fuel and structure, just to escape Earth's gravity, push it through space, and slow it down at the destination. A crewed mission means bringing absolutely everything needed for 3 years of survival: food, water, oxygen, tools, and, most crucially, the enormous amount of fuel required for the return trip. The mission absolutely cannot fail to bring enough fuel to get home. This is what creates the astronomical cost barrier. NASA's estimates for a single, fully developed human Mars mission have historically ranged from $300 billion to $600 billion. Why so costly? Because all that hardware has to be launched from Earth. SpaceX's Starship promises reusability and unprecedented payload capacity, potentially cutting the development price down to the lower tens of billions. But the law of physics still holds. More mass means more complexity, and more complexity means higher risk. The only real way to break this financial and mass barrier is with ISRU, in situ resource utilization. This means living off the Martian land. Astronauts must be able to extract water ice from the soil, separate oxygen from the Martian atmosphere's carbon dioxide, and, most importantly, synthesize their own rocket propellant for the trip back. We have the proof of concept, but deploying and validating this massive factory on Mars before a human crew arrives is an engineering achievement that still requires years of testing and massive upfront investment. Even if we solve radiation and logistics, we still face the most delicate variable of all: the human body. 9 months in zero gravity is disastrous. Without the constant fight against gravity, astronauts suffer rapid bone density loss, severe muscle atrophy, and irreversible vision impairment due to fluid pressure changes. Intense exercise helps, but it's a race against biological certainty. This is the Mars disease. Then there is the psychological burden. The crew will be living in a tiny habitat, unable to see Earth as anything more than a distant star. For 3 years. The communication delay, ranging from 4 to 24 minutes one way, makes real-time problem solving with mission control impossible. The crew is totally alone. Isolation, confinement, and the constant crushing knowledge that help is literally months away create an environment ripe for psychological breakdown and internal conflict. NASA and other agencies must rigorously screen and train for resilience, but modeling the mental effects of a 3-year, high-stress, no-return environment remains an inexact, terrifying science. The long-term effects on cognitive function could compromise the entire mission during a critical moment. The simple reality is that the problem of reaching Mars isn't about if we can do it, but how we can mitigate the risks. We know the challenges: the invisible threat of radiation, the logistical burden of mass and cost, and the inherent fragility of the human body. Every step of the Artemis program, every Starship test flight, is a direct attack on these 3 problems. We aren't waiting around. We are building the solutions right now. The question isn't whether we have the will. We absolutely do. The real challenge is the engineering mastery required to turn a magnificent vision into a survivable reality. The first crew to Mars won't just be explorers, they will be pioneers of survival, rewriting the destiny of our species. Do you think we will solve these puzzles in the next decade? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe for more amazing science. And as always, stay curious.